the hidden forces that shape your soul, light vs. shadow unveiled. There's a moment in every spiritual journey when you stop and ask, who am I really? Not the version of you that shows up on social media. Not the you that goes to work every day. But the you that lives in silence, that breathes in the dark, that stares at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering what this life is really about. That you, the one buried beneath all the layers, is made of energy. And that energy has a polarity, shadow or light. And today, we go deeper than ever before to discover which one drives you and why.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
I didn't understand this at first. I used to think spirituality was just about love and peace and smiling at everyone. I thought light energy was about being positive and shadow energy was about being angry or sad. But oh, I was wrong. So wrong. Because shadow energy is not evil, and light energy is not always good. And the difference between the two, it's not what you think. You see, we all carry both, but which one dominates your life? That's the question that matters. When I first went into silence, no phone, no talking, no distractions for 7 days, I thought I would find peace. But instead, I found war. Inside me, fears I had buried, resentments I had denied. I realized my actions were being controlled by something deeper than thought. Shadow energy. It was there in the way I judged others, how I compared myself, how I always needed to win, to be seen, to be right. And yet, I also saw something else, my light. The part of me that wanted to heal, to love, to forgive. It wasn't louder, but it was clearer. And in that moment, I knew I had to choose, not once, but every day. So let me ask you a question that might haunt you tonight. Are your decisions being made from your shadow or your light? Not what you say, but what you do. When you're alone, when no one is watching, when you feel triggered or rejected or afraid, which energy moves you? Now let's go deeper. The first difference between shadow and light energy is intention. Shadow energy acts from fear, even when it looks like love. Light energy acts from love, even when it feels like fear. You can help someone from your shadow, giving to feel needed, serving to feel superior, smiling to be liked. But you can also sit in silence, do nothing, and radiate light. Because light doesn't need attention. It just is. Shadow energy is clever. It mimics light. It wants to be seen as the good guy. But it's always calculating, always asking, what do I get from this? Light energy has no agenda. It serves because it cannot help but serve. It loves without needing to be loved back. Which one are you operating from? The second difference is presence. Shadow energy lives in the past and future. It replays old wounds. It fantasizes about control. Light energy lives in the now, fully, deeply, without resistance. When you're in your shadow, you're always somewhere else. You're angry about yesterday. You're anxious about tomorrow. You're trying to escape this moment. But when you're in your light, you could be sitting in traffic and feel peace. You could be in a fight and still hold compassion. Light energy isn't about smiling all the time. It's about being fully here, even when it's hard. Can you do that? Can you stay present, even when your ego is screaming to run? The third difference is reaction vs. response. Shadow energy reacts. It's impulsive. It's defensive. It gets triggered and strikes back. Light energy responds. It pauses. It breathes. It sees the pain behind the insult, the fear behind the anger, and it chooses not to add more noise. When someone criticizes you, do you feel the urge to defend yourself? That's shadow. When someone betrays you, do you need revenge? That's shadow. But when you allow yourself to feel the pain and still choose grace, that's light. That's power. The fourth difference is identity. Shadow energy is obsessed with who you think you are. Your name, your story, your trauma. This happened to me, so I am this way. It clings to labels. It says, this is just how I am. But light energy doesn't need a story. It flows. It evolves. It dies and is reborn again and again. It doesn't need to be right. It just needs to be true. Many of us are more loyal to our pain than to our growth. Because pain is familiar. Growth is terrifying. But if you want to step into your light, you have to let go of the identity built by your shadow. Are you ready to do that? The fifth difference is control vs. surrender. Shadow energy wants to control everything: people, outcomes, opinions. It believes that control equals safety. But it's a lie. The more you try to control, the more you suffer. Light energy trusts, not blindly, but deeply. It surrenders not because it's weak, but because it knows that real strength is letting go. Can you sit in uncertainty and still breathe? Can you let go of what you cannot fix and still love fully? That's light, and it's the hardest thing you will ever do. The sixth difference is judgment. Shadow energy judges relentlessly. It needs to separate everything, good, bad, right, wrong, us, them. It needs enemies to feel superior. It feeds on division. But light energy sees beyond form. It sees the soul beneath the behavior. It understands that people act from their wounds, that even the ones who hurt you are trapped in their own pain. Light doesn't excuse the shadow, but it doesn't become it either. It holds boundaries and compassion. Can you do that? Can you see the humanity in the one who hurt you? And the seventh difference, the most important one, is freedom. Shadow energy binds you. It makes you a prisoner of your cravings, your fears, your ego. But light energy sets you free. Free from needing to be liked. Free from needing to win. Free from needing to prove anything. When you are in your light, you don't need permission to be yourself. You just are. You don't need to explain your peace. You just live it. And the world may not understand, but your soul will finally breathe. So now I ask you again, do you have shadow or light energy? Not just in what you say, but in what you choose, in how you treat strangers, in how you speak to yourself, in how you show up when no one is clapping. This is not a test to pass. It's a mirror, and you must look without flinching. In this journey, there is no shame in the shadow. All of us carry it. I carry it. You carry it. The question is not whether you have shadow energy. The question is whether it has you. Whether it's driving your life, or whether you've made the choice to step into your light, again and again, every single day. Because in the end, you don't become light by fighting the shadow. You become light by seeing it and choosing differently. The sacred battle within, how shadow energy sabotages your light without you even knowing. Sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you don't even know is there. And that's exactly how shadow energy works. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't attack you from the outside, it disguises itself as your voice, your logic, your truth. It becomes your habits, your comfort zones, your preferences. And before you even realize it, you've built your entire life around protecting your wounds rather than healing them. Let's get honest. How many of your decisions are rooted in fear disguised as logic? How many of your boundaries are actually walls to keep love out? How many of your goals are just distractions from facing your own emptiness? That's how shadow energy sabotages your light. Not by opposing it directly, but by seducing you into thinking you're already awake when in truth, you're just comfortably asleep inside a spiritual illusion. You might think you're growing spiritually when you read another book, attend another retreat, or post another quote. But growth is not what you do on the outside. It's whether you're willing to face the one thing your shadow never wants you to face, yourself. The raw, unfiltered, unedited you with all your insecurities, your pride, your hidden envy, your silent shame. That's where the battle is won or lost. Not in the rituals, not in the affirmations, but in the moment when you see your darkness and refuse to run from it. I remember a time when I thought I had healed. I had done the inner child work. I had done the shadow journaling. I had forgiven my past, or so I thought. But then life threw me a curveball, betrayal from someone I trusted deeply. And instead of responding from my light, I saw my shadow arise like a tidal wave. Not just anger, but the need to punish, to be right, to be seen as the victim. And in that moment I realized the shadow I thought I had healed was just hiding, waiting for the perfect moment to reclaim power. That's when I learned one of the deepest truths of this journey. The shadow doesn't die just because you see it. It dies when you stop feeding it, and it feeds on attention, on drama, on validation, on your need to be seen a certain way. Every time you react from ego, every time you defend your pride, every time you refuse to forgive, you're handing your power back to the shadow. But here's the twist. The shadow isn't your enemy. In fact, it's your teacher. It shows you where the light has not yet entered. And when you stop judging it, when you stop trying to kill it, when you start listening to it without obeying it, that's when real transformation begins. Because the shadow only has power over you when it's unconscious. When you bring it into the light, it loses its grip. It becomes fuel for wisdom, for compassion, and for depth. Let me give you a practical example. Say someone criticizes you. Your shadow feels attacked. It wants to fight back, to defend, to prove them wrong. But your light, if you listen closely, will whisper, what part of you is still trying to earn worth? What wound was touched by this comment? And if you pause, not react, but really pause, you'll see that the pain isn't from now. It's from then. From that time you weren't believed. From that time you were dismissed. That's the shadow's voice. And it's not trying to destroy you. It's asking to be seen, to be healed, but healing doesn't come from denial. It comes from awareness, from choosing a higher response even when your lower self is screaming. Now ask yourself, where in your life are you still reacting instead of responding? Where are you still blaming instead of owning? Where are you still performing instead of being? These are not easy questions, but they are the beginning of liberation. One of the most subtle ways shadow energy sabotages your light is through spiritual superiority. Oh, this one is dangerous. It's when your ego puts on a robe and calls itself awakened. It's when you start thinking you're more evolved than others because you meditate or read sacred texts. But true light energy is humble. It doesn't need to prove enlightenment. It just lives it, quietly, truthfully, without needing applause. Have you ever noticed that the most awakened people rarely call themselves awakened? That's because light doesn't boast. It just is. Meanwhile, the shadow loves to wear the mask of light. It wants to be the teacher, the guide, the healer, not because it wants to serve, but because it wants to be admired. And until you catch that pattern, you'll keep mistaking ego for evolution. Another way shadow energy works is through avoidance. You numb, you distract, you stay busy. You chase goals, success, even spiritual experiences, all to avoid sitting with the discomfort of your own being. You call it ambition, you call it purpose, but underneath is fear. Fear of emptiness, fear of insignificance, fear of what you might find if you stopped running. But let me tell you the truth. The light you seek will never be found in the chase. It lives in the stillness you're avoiding. So pause, breathe, and ask, what am I avoiding right now? Who would I be if I stopped trying to prove myself? What would remain if I let go of the need to be right, to be liked, to be seen a certain way? These questions are terrifying, but they are the door to your freedom. One of the most beautiful aspects of light energy is radical responsibility. It doesn't blame. It doesn't wait for others to change. It asks, what is this showing me about myself? Even betrayal becomes a mirror. Even rejection becomes a teacher. Light energy doesn't mean you allow abuse, no. It means you take back your power by refusing to be a victim. Because when you blame, you give your power away. But when you own your part, even your blind spots, you reclaim your sovereignty. And that's where true light begins. You might be wondering, but isn't that unfair? What if others really did wrong me? Yes, they probably did, and your pain is valid. But here's the truth, your healing is still your responsibility. Not because it was your fault, but because it's your soul, and no one else can do the inner work for you. The moment you wait for someone else to make it right, you've already lost. But the moment you say, I choose to heal, no matter what they did, that's when you become truly powerful. And that's the paradox. The more you choose light, the more your shadow will scream. Because it knows it's dying. The old you, the one built on fear, control, ego, it will resist. It will tempt you with comfort, with validation, with self-pity. But you must hold the line. You must sit in the fire and not flinch. Because beyond that fire is freedom. Now here's a question I want you to sit with tonight. What if the parts of yourself you hate the most are actually the keys to your awakening? What if your anger is just love that was never allowed to speak? What if your envy is just your soul pointing to what you've denied yourself? What if your fear is just sacred energy asking to be transmuted? You see, your shadow is not here to destroy you. It's here to initiate you, to test you, is to strip away all the masks so that your light can finally shine without distortion. But it's a choice. Every day, in every moment, and no one can make it for you. So now I ask you again, do you have shadow or light energy? And not just that, but are you brave enough to face the shadow without judgment? Are you wise enough to stop feeding it? Are you devoted enough to walk with your light, even when no one is watching? Because at the end of the day, your light is not proven by how much you know, but by how much you love, how much truth you're willing to hold, how much peace you can radiate even when the world is burning. The final awakening, how to embody light energy and transcend the shadow forever. There comes a moment on the spiritual path when you stop asking for signs and start becoming one. When you stop seeking light outside of you and realize you are the light you've been waiting for. That's the final awakening. Not a moment of fireworks or angels singing from the clouds, but a silent, steady realization. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were just buried beneath layers of conditioning, beneath years of forgetting. But now you remember. And in that remembering, you no longer fight the shadow. You integrate it. You honor it. You bring it home because it no longer controls you. It becomes your depth, your wisdom, your compassion. You don't transcend the shadow by escaping it. You transcend it by embracing it fully, fiercely, without resistance. That's when the war ends. That's when peace begins. To embody light energy is not to be perfect. It is to be whole. It is to walk through this world with your heart open, even when it hurts. It is to speak truth, even when your voice shakes. It is to choose love when your ego screams for revenge. It is to sit in stillness when everything in you wants to escape. And it is to do this not once, but every single day. That's the path of the master, the one who no longer needs the world to change in order to be at peace, because they've changed within. Let me tell you something that might shock you. The most enlightened beings I've met, they still feel anger. They still get triggered. They still have shadows. But here's the difference. They see it. They don't act from it. They bow to it. And then they choose differently. That's what makes them powerful. Not their perfection, but their presence. Their ability to witness the storm without becoming the storm. You want to embody light energy? Start here. Radical self-honesty. Be willing to see yourself clearly, not through the lens of your ego or your achievements, but through the lens of your soul. Ask yourself, where am I still hiding? Where am I still performing? Where am I still reacting? And then tell the truth. Even if it breaks your image, even if it shatters your pride, because your image is not your identity. Your soul is. And your soul doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be real. The next step is radical acceptance. You cannot transcend what you still reject. If you hate your fear, it grows. If you fight your pain, it deepens. But if you breathe into it, if you say, yes, this too is part of me, you bring it into the light. And light transforms everything it touches. So stop trying to fix yourself. Start meeting yourself. That's where the shift happens. Not in becoming more, but in being more present, more loving, more open. Then comes radical responsibility. No more blaming. No more waiting. No more saying, I'll be happy when. You take ownership of your energy, your choices, your healing, even your suffering. Not because you're to blame, but because you're that powerful. You stop outsourcing your peace. You stop waiting for closure. You stop needing validation, and you start living from your center. That's when your light becomes unshakable. Now let's talk about practice, because embodying light is not a concept. It's a discipline, a devotion, a daily commitment to come back to presence. Here are 3 practical rituals that will change your life forever if you live them deeply. First, the pause. Every time you feel triggered, pause. Breathe. Don't react. Just observe. Feel the energy rise in your body. Watch the thoughts. Witness the story your mind is telling. And then ask, is this coming from my shadow or my light? That 1 second of awareness can change the entire trajectory of your life. Because in that second, you reclaim your power. Second, the mirror. Every night, stand in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes, not to judge, not to criticize, but to see. Ask yourself, where did I act from love today? Where did I act from fear? This is not about guilt. It's about awakening. The more you see yourself clearly, the more you align with your truth. Third, the offering. Every morning, offer your day to something greater than yourself. Call it God, Source, Spirit, Love. Say, use me. Let me be a vessel of light today. Let every word I speak, every step I take, carry your presence. This simple ritual will anchor you in purpose. It will remind you that your life is not just about you. It's about service, and service is the highest frequency of light. Let me ask you now, from the deepest part of my being, what are you really here for? Not what the world told you, not what your family expected, but you, your soul. What are you here to embody? What are you here to remember? What are you here to offer? Because when you awaken, truly awaken, you realize your life is not yours. It belongs to the light, and every moment you spend chasing validation, chasing goals, chasing status, you're postponing your soul. But every moment you're present, authentic, grounded in love, you're fulfilling your sacred purpose. And here's what no one tells you. The more you embody light, the more darkness you'll encounter. Not because you're failing, but because you're ready. The universe doesn't test the weak. It tests the ones who are ready to lead, to hold space, to carry the fire. So don't run from the trials. Don't resent the pain. Bow to it. Thank it. Let it shape you. That's how you become an embodiment, not just a student of the light. Some days you'll fall short, you'll react, you'll slip, you'll forget. That's okay. What matters is that you return, over and over again. Return to presence, return to love, return to the truth that lives beneath your name, your story, your wounds, the truth that you are eternal, that you are enough, that you are already whole. So now, one final question. If today were your last day on earth, what would you regret not saying? Not doing? Not being? And if the answer is clear, why wait? This is your wake-up call. Not the kind that comes from fear, but the kind that comes from love so deep, so real, so powerful it shakes you awake. You are not here to play small. You are not here to be liked. You are here to light up the world. So choose, today, this moment, not to be perfect, but to be present, not to be impressive, but to be true, not to be above others, but to walk with them in compassion, in clarity, in courage. Because in the end, it's not about shadow or light. It's about becoming so integrated, so whole, so awake that your very presence becomes healing, that your life becomes a lighthouse, that everywhere you go, people feel safer, softer, more alive just because you're there. That is the real power. That is the real light. And that is who you already are. Remember,